Hey YouTube, NC Flyer 79 here with another build update on the Seagull models 50 to 60 cc FW190. So here's where I'm at. I just finished one wing, hooking everything, doing all the control surfaces and stuff like that. The only thing I've got left to do is connect the push rods and set up the flat push rods, retracts in place, and I will do the push rods once I get the other wing done and get them together. That way I can center and find out what I need to make adjustment wise and get my flaps and everything working in sync. So a few things I was wanting to go over with you. First of all, super easy build. This thing is going together fantastic, no issues at all. Just a few points of interest I thought I'd point out and share with you guys. So, hooking up ailerons, about as straightforward as it gets. If you've done an ARF, you can do this. You just basically put them in there, drill them out, put your servo in, make sure you put some CA on the holes for the screws to mount the servo to. These epoxy in, good to go. These also epoxy in. This is the flap. Which is what I'm going to get to here in just a second. So first thing I want to tell you about is the retracts. So got one of the retracts in. This is the gear door. I painted the inside of this German interior gray. I'm not sure what the technical name for it is. I'm sure it's some sort of RLM color. These are really heavy duty. This is not wood. This is like some sort of composite plastic. But it's got a good weight to it, so kind of like it. But anyway, went in here to the wheel well, cut all this out for the retract. So if you want to go with a bigger wheel like I'm doing, there's a few things you got to do. The kit comes with a 3.5 inch wheel, which to me is way too small. So you'll notice this lip that goes around through here. This lip continues all the way around through here. If you want to go to a bigger wheel, in my case, a 4-inch wheel, I got these. Excuse me, guys. I got these off of eBay. This is a 4-inch aluminum wheel, pretty heavy duty. If you want to go to a 4-inch wheel, you're going to have to remove this lip. Now, you don't have to go all the way back with it. You just got to take it back to about right here, right where the cutout where the wheel's going to sit. So you need to cut that out. Take that out, and also right here you can see this normally would stick out a little bit more. You've got to cut that down a little bit and out, and the same on this one. I kind of cut it at an angle to keep the round there on it. You can see where I made a cut right there and just go straight up with it. The same on this side. You can see that one come out. These two actually were not attached. It looks like there had been something from here to here. It's actually not. So these were not attached. This is just a part of a rib that come out. But anyway, you just got to cut it back a little bit. And there's another one. I don't know if you guys can see it. There's another one right in there. You got to cut back a little bit. So just trim those back. Now, if you want to go bigger than a 4-inch wheel, you can. There's room. You just have to come in here, make this a little bit wider, and come around through here, and then do a little bit more trimming here and here and here. I personally would not go any bigger than a 4.5 inch wheel on this bird. You can do it, but you just have to do a little bit more trimming, but I don't want to compromise the integrity of the wing. Cutting this little bit back here is not going to hurt it at all. So what I did do is, after I made all my cuts and I made sure my wheel would sit in here, I went through and painted this interior German gray. All this is painted German interior gray. And then I mixed up some 5-minute epoxy and brushed all over that surface in there. That's why it's glossy looking. Anywhere I could get a brush, got epoxy, even back here on these things. So this is all normally natural bare wood. I don't have the other wing started yet, or I'd show you, but this is all bare wood, and I think it looks good, even though you'll probably never see it. So your retract wire, There's a few ways you can run it. They give you a hole right here, and there's a hole right here. I went for this one. There is plenty of room. You can go right through there, which will come out right here at this flap and straight over. And when you do that, you have that much slack. That's how much you got. And there's a lot there to work with. So there's a few ways you can do that. I just prefer all my wires to go like that. And whenever this retract is in place, this gear door sits on this little ledge here, like that. Obviously mine's not bolted down, but you can see where these holes here line up with right here and right here. These will allow you to bolt these gear doors on, which is really nice. So might have to do a little bit of trimming for these, maybe kind of angle these a little bit, because this corner on grass might catch. The back should be fine, but I might come up through here with my Dremel and cut just a little bit of this off to allow just a little bit more bite of the wheel to keep from nosing over. So also too, you'll notice in the wing there are holes here and that are pre-drilled. Guys, don't be careful that you you don't try to drill these out more, because there are blind nuts on the back side of this. And so what you do, the hardware that comes with your retracts, and here are the retracts. There's bolts. Here's the bolts. You take this, put a washer on it. I know they look weak, but they're actually really nice hardware. Seagull does a good job with their hardware. Put you some Loctite on it, or some, thread locker on it. Drop them in place, bolt them in. The gear's not going anywhere once you do that. The gear installation is extremely easy. So that pretty much sums up the gear. Just, put your wheel on, and you can cycle them to make sure, and then put your gear doors and stuff on. So something else I was wanting to show you guys, I'm going to flip the wing around here. Wing actually feels pretty light on this thing. So when you're gluing in these horns, your flap, aileron, this same thing goes for the two elevator halves. The rudder is painted yellow, like this color yellow to match, so you obviously will be able to tell which one that is. But on your control horns here, if you'll notice, the ones that go for the flap only have one hole. The ones that go for the ailerons and the elevator halves have three, so that's how you can tell. These are a little bit tight. You might want to put those in there, push them in, pull them out a time or two to loosen them up. What I did afterwards is, once I did that, I actually put a little bit of some CA down in there, and then I used 30-minute epoxy and glued these in. I filled this slot up full and of 30-minute epoxy, and put those in and let them dry overnight completely before I moved on to this next step. So just want to give you a heads up on that. The other thing too is on the flap itself, the hinge. Each one of these things right here, where this is marked here, 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 and here, these are all, there's pilot holes that they start right here. So what you want to do is, what I would do, and this is what I do, because this style of flap is also on the 20cc Mr. Schmidt 109. It's the first time I run into them. They're awesome. They work great. But you just got to make sure you do a few things before you bolt everything or screw everything down. So what you want to do is put this half, I don't have the piece, you can tell which side is which. There's these little, this thing comes up and there's two little pins right here, and this plastic hinge clips onto that. Put these on. There's 4 of them for each flap. Put these on, and whenever you do, put the pilot holes in, but don't put these in yet. These other screws here and here on each one of those down through there will have to be drilled out too. Each one on the flap will have to be drilled out. None of these, there's no pilot holes for the flap, so you got to drill all 3 of these out on the flap itself. So the best thing to do this is put one hole, or excuse me, use the pilot hole, put them on, get your clips, clip them on, and then what I found out is, and then I went through and bolted them down. I made sure they all lined up, so the hinge is right over the hinge line. What you want to do is work that flap and make sure there's no bonding anywhere. I had to come off of this just a little bitty bit because mine was up right against it. And luckily I found out whenever I tried to work this that it would hit and it would bind. So make sure you leave plenty of gap on each side. These are split flaps, so I mean you can tell that they're going to be they're going to look really nice on there, just like the real Focke-Wulf. But anyway, just wanted to make you aware of that. Make sure, you know, leave yourself a little bit of gap here. Get them all, put one screw in each side, one up here, use the pilot hole here, do them all, and then work this flap and make sure that it moves freely, because if one of these are off or at an angle or one's a little bit more toward or back, when you raise this up, these are going to pop off. So just, you know, just double check your alignment before you put the final screws in on everything, basically. So once you do that and everything works, you can put the other 4 screws in, be 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and so on. The kit gives you fuel tubing to use on these right here. I don't use it. I prefer zip ties. Same thing I did on my 109. If you use the zip ties here on this, I've been flying at 109 for years, no problems whatsoever. Where it works fine, and I don't anticipate any problems with these. So that's it, really. I mean, everything else is pretty straightforward. The ailerons have the rod. I don't know if you can see the rod right there that runs the full length. And there's fiberglass inserts here, so there's nothing to hinge here or anything. The wing itself has no gluing at all, really. So it's kind of cool. I haven't hooked my flaps up yet. Like I said, I want to wait till I get both of my wings together in order to set my flaps up so I can get them going the right ways and working in sync and everything. And the same for the aileron. So anyway, fellas, that's it. And if you have any questions, definitely don't hesitate to holler at me. I don't know if you watched the other build videos, but I added these panel lines. They're not perfect, but they look better than just a plain flat gray and wing on it. The decals that come with the kit, I wasn't real crappy with them, so I got some custom markings coming from Callie. I ordered some from her already, but I was going to try to use the stock iron crosses that come with the kit. I put one on and was not happy with it, and so I went ahead and told her I wanted another set of iron crosses to go on the sides and everything, so that's what I did. So I can tell you can see the fuse over there. I got a green heart and a swastika on the tail. But anyway, I'll get into that later too. But anyway, that's one wing done. The other wing is identical. So just take your time and just make sure everything lined up basically on these flats before you drill these holes out. And there's solid wood blocks all the way down through here. And you can see the back side. This is all solid wood. So don't worry about, you know, just only covering or anything, because you don't have to. And the same right here, this is all solid. You can feel a solid piece of wood going down through there. So everything's going into hard blocks. As always, after you drill, take them out, put you some CA in all your holes, then put your screws back. So it just helps do everything. So for the flaps, I'm using the, let me find the bag here. I'm using these Onyx S55 standard heavy duty servos. These are Metal Gear. I've read good things on them. I know they're slow. I think a lot of the rock crawler car guys use them, I think. But I think they're going to work great for the flaps. The slowness will be good. It's a Warbird. It don't need high-speed digital servos throughout it. It's a waste. But anyway, this is what's in here. For my ailerons and stuff, I've run in high-tech 645s, but I'm going to try these Onyx servos out from Horizon. I feel pretty good about buying anything from Horizon, so if something happens or one doesn't work, I can get my money back. So anyway, guys, that's it. Let me know what you think. If you have any issues, don't hesitate to look me up here on YouTube. I also started a build thread on RC groups. Same screen name, NC Flyer 79. I'm also on Facebook in a RC Warbird Addicts group. You can find me under there as Jared Kirby. don't hesitate to ask me any questions. But if honestly, so far, if you put any ARF together, you'll be able to put this one together. It's just bigger is all. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch up with you. Brian Brody, buddy, I hope you liked this video as well. There's more coming. So see you guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.